In this tutorial, we're going to cover creating a new installation from a door and hardware schedule. Now, your door and hardware schedule needs to be completed, all the products entered, ready to go, before you can reference it. So we're going to come into New Installation, and this will open up the installation form with a new install number. Okay, so first thing we need to do, you want to select the same customer and the same job as you do have on the door and hardware schedule. And I have one opened up here. So it's the contractor's 24-hour door, and the job is Circle K. So let's go ahead and select these two. And we'll need to save this again before we can change tabs. So if you look under product information, of course right now it's going to be empty. There shouldn't be anything under there. And what we're going to do is come under this import doors, frames, and hardware. So under this tab up here on the left, first thing we need to do is select the door schedule ID. The door schedule ID, if you look under the door and hardware schedule form, is right here. You want this number, 417. So that's going to reference this customer and this project. So you can either type it in, or you can hit the drop down and select it from the list, 417. And then click Get Products. So these are all the doors, frames, and hardware that pulled in from this door and frame hardware schedule. If you look under the door schedule form, all these doors, wood doors, hollow metal doors and frames, and all the hardware items. So all these have been pulled into the into this installation form. So now what I can do is I can either go down and select what it is I want to import. If I'm only doing, let's say, wood doors, I would come down here to the wood door manufacturer section and just select those. Maybe somebody else is doing the hollow metal, or vice versa. If I'm doing all the hollow metal and somebody else is doing the wood doors, then since there's only a few wood doors and mostly hollow metal, what you can do is select everything. It's going to check all the boxes, then come down and then unselect the wood doors. And then it's only going to add these hollow metal door items to the list. And the same down here, if there are any wood frames, looks like everything is Curry's, I would just go ahead and check this box and select everything. So now when I click Import, it'll pull all of the hollow metal items into this installation. The same way with hardware. If I'm installing all the hardware, I'll just select this box. It'll select all the hardware items. Or if I'm only selecting certain items, I would go down and check them and then click Import, and it'll add those in. But in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and just select everything: doors, wood doors, frames, and hardware. So all these items are going to be, maybe I'm installing this entire project. Now, before I click the install, if there is a markup I want to use on the installation charges, I can put it in now. Typically, you'll probably leave it at 0, but again, that's all up to you. According to the project, certain projects you may want to mark up your labor rates a certain amount or whatever. Or if you want to round the retail, you can check it now before they go on. Okay, so once we have all that selected, we're going to click Import. And it's going to go through and pull all these items into the installation. And it says verify all products have been saved. Say OK. Come under product information. And now you can see all the items that are in here. They're sorted by manufacturer and then part number. And you can see all the items all the part numbers have the word install in front of the part number. So again, if you watch the other tutorial on creating a new install, this is very important. That word install has to be in front of the part number. This is so that when it's added to an estimate or a sales order, you can distinguish between an installation or the actual part number that's being supplied. Okay, so at this time, if there's an additional item, maybe something on the door and frame and hardware schedule that was not included, you can add it now. You can add it to this installation list. For example, maybe you want to include toilet accessories. You can either do the toilet accessory item, for example, contract door company as the vendor, installation, and we're going to come down here to the actual, maybe where's the install a grab bar, install toilet accessory grab bar. So now I can add that to my installation list. That'll be included with the doors, frames, and hardware. Or you can add the actual hardware item. Let's clear these fields. Let's do Bobrick toilet accessories. And I don't really recall their grab bar numbers, but whatever it is, let's say, let's try this one. Yeah, got one. So I can use this actual part number as the item I'm going to install. And you can see that's the rate. So if I need to change this one particular item, I can change it here just for this installation. I can update the rate. Maybe when you're installing mirrors, you want a little bit more rate because of possible breakage, things like that. And then the time to install that item. So any changes I make, I can do this now before I save it. And that'll be the total. Now I want to put in the quantity, however many grab bars there are. That looks like a 30-inch grab bar. So maybe there are 5 of these. So that's $125. And I can now save that part and it's going to add it to the list. Now, again, this is sorted by manufacturer. You can see it there, and it added the word install in front of that part number. And again, that's now if you're including the part numbers, and when you get to your estimate or your sales order, you can add the actual part number there. This is going to be for installations only. You can't do the actual part number here. So this is only for installations. Again, each item, if there's something you need to edit, just double click it from the list, pull it up. If I need to change anything, either the rate or the time, I can then change it now, then save it back to the list. Or if I need to remove it, I can click remove item, and we'll say yes, permanently removes it, and that will then remove it from the list and regenerate the totals. Again, if there's, for a particular line item, if there's a note you want to include, you can do it here. Maybe for these wood doors, we'll pull that up, double click it. Now, wood doors takes a couple minutes to load because there are a lot of, even under the category of birch rotary natural, there are a lot of wood doors in here, so it takes a while to load this list. But here I can then add whatever note it is I want to add for this item, and then save it back, and that note will then show up on the when I send it to an estimate or sales order. So this is pretty much how it's pretty straightforward. Again, you can only do the installations here. You can't add an actual part number to sell. That will have to be done under the estimate or in the sales order. So this should pretty much cover everything. There's not a whole lot to this other than making sure that your door and hardware schedule is completed before you pull anything in. That way you make sure you get everything. Now, if there's something that maybe I created this installation, if after you create this install, something changes on the door and hardware schedule, we don't have any way to import the new items at this time. Maybe that'll come at a later date. But so you would have to create a whole new install for that change. But typically, if you're going to make changes in the door and hardware schedule, you will also create a revised copy. I mean, that's the best way to do it, do a revision, and then add whatever items there are to be added. And that in turn will give you a new install ID or door schedule ID up here. So, and then from there you would create a new installation based on that new ID. So that should pretty well cover everything on adding doors, frames, and hardware from a door and hardware schedule. So if you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions on this, please call or email us and let us know. And other than that, thanks and have a great day.